Okay, so Foodhammer 2013. General thoughts about the tournament and how it was run. It's a good tournament. There's always consistency in Dan Miner and Chris Jones tournaments that they run. They've been doing these kind of things for a long time. So anytime they're running an event, you know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be smooth. You know it's going to have a good schedule and plenty of time to play your game and take pictures, as proven from all my games. So. Uh, Thoughts about the turnout for the tournament. There were a lot of people, and every single race in Warhammer Fantasy was represented in this tournament, which was awesome. There was one Brett's, two Beastmen, two Wood Elves, one Tomb Kings, one Dwarf, I think four Empire, one High Elf, two Dark Elf, Skaven, um, a few, I think maybe two Chaos Demons, about four Chaos Warriors, and about three or four Ogres, I think, and one Lizard Man. So the only thing that wasn't really there was Chaos Dwarfs, which I guess technically speaking are not one of the main armies anyway. But that was cool to see everyone there. Best painted went to a friend of mine, John Fokowski, with his Spartan-themed Dark Elves, which were really sweet. Every single model in that army is converted and painted by him as well. Usually he gets other people to paint his stuff, but his Dark Elf Spartan army took him 2 years apparently, and it was really well done. So congrats to him. He deserved it, for sure. And yeah, I guess on to the summary of my games. Game 1, I felt like maybe I was a little bit rusty, especially with my deployment, but the big impassable piece of terrain in the middle of the board kind of affected the deployment and the way the game played out. I was able to mitigate his offense by just kind of making him run around the hill with his big combat blocks, and I never really had to fight either of his scary fighting units. I think his decision to charge the Spearman with his Dreadlord and his BSB and his Mage into my Steam Tank might have been a wrong choice, especially because I had gaps to charge a flank, and honestly there was no way that unit was going to be killing the Steam Tank in one round, even if he'd remembered his D3 wounds. Max he could have done was 6 wounds, which still wouldn't have killed the Steam Tank, even after I had misfired and taken 3 more wounds. So perhaps he, I guess, overestimated the power of the comet that was going to come down, and he kind of ran his executioners away. But yeah, I don't think I made many mistakes as for like choosing an engagement or spells or shooting at different targets. I think I did everything quite well. And as I said, he was new to Dark Elves and possibly a bit rusty. He doesn't play many tournaments, so can't really blame him too much. So game 2, I was really scared going into that game. That his army had a lot of answers for what my army had to offer. So I think, like I said during the battle report, if he had in each magic phase, if he was throwing down a comet, it would have been devastating for me, and I was very scared of it. I'm like, when I saw his magic cards, when I saw the top of his deck, I saw heavens. I'm like, shit, he's gonna get comet, and he's gonna really pressure my war machines to move out of range of the comet and basically come towards him, which really you don't want to be doing as an Empire player facing an Ogre army. But luckily, he focused on harmonic convergence and focused on like doing a few lightning bolts that didn't do much, and Ice Shard Blizzard that really didn't have much of an impact in the game as well. Misfiring with his second Iron Blaster the first turn was quite unfortunate, losing it as a cannon, but moving it up was, I think, just a mistake too, because my Demigryph Knights really proved their worth in this game, taking out the Iron Blaster and overrunning into the Bulls, taking them out as well as scoring me my secondary objective by land claim. So very impressed with the Demigryph Knights this game. They don't often perform that well because I'm a little reluctant to send them gallivanting off into enemy territory, because they're not Skull Crushers, they're not Morn Fang. They will die. even with a 1-up save. So um, the lead belcher's running was quite unfortunate, and I had one really good turn of shooting with my Hellblaster, taking out his entire unit of Iron Guts, leaving just 3 characters, which allowed me to cannon snipe his level 4. So it could have gone either way. I think he didn't make many mistakes other than his spell choices. Um, Ogres are always a tough army to play against, unless you're Warriors of Chaos. But um, yeah, and in game 3, I got totally tabled pretty much, but again, it was the army composition of my opponent was wrong, and he, I'm sure, feels horrible for winning all 3 of his games with lists that he couldn't even technically use. Um, I'm not sure of how long he was playing vampire counts for, but it's something that could be overlooked if you're not familiar with what's going on. So I would feel really bad if I won all 3 games with a list that I technically couldn't have used, and I'm sure he feels the same. He was a good guy to play against, and I definitely learned something, being that I really need to take tab of what remains in play spells are on the board, and possibly not have let that spell go off in the beginning. Instead of using my spell scroll to stop a Spirit Leech, I could have stopped the Doom and Darkness, but you learn from all your mistakes, I guess. So, yeah, I had fun, and I'll be going next year, I guess, and I don't think there's going to be another tournament for Fantasy or War Machine until the new year, so I will most likely not be uploading any videos until probably February or March. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.